are you most proud of?
I'm proud every time I see it. I just see how we all go through these transitions in life, and I see that I've learned to ride the wave. You know, sometimes life is up, sometimes it's down, but I've been able to like pick myself up. And as I've gotten older, I just realized, like, you know what, something else may happen, but I just have to, I know that I am a strong person. I know that I am resilient, and I'm gonna continue to push forth. There's no giving up here.
That's good. So how long did they shoot for the film?
It was a 2-year process,
Now,
2 years.
Throughout that process, was there ever a time where you thought, I don't want to share something, or was there a time where you said, okay, I'm done?
Oh, definitely. The time when I had the incident in 2012, that was really an impactful moment for me because it was something that was really out of character. It was something that I walked away with feeling a lot of embarrassment, not just for myself, but for my family, you know, for the people at Tennessee that really, really support me. I mean, I was embarrassed. This is not Chamique Holdsclaw-like behavior. I mean, I probably got one parking ticket my whole life, and I knew with that one mistake that people were gonna judge me. And it was really hard for me to accept. There was a lot of guilt that I had to deal with. I mean, I would wake up in the middle of the night, my shirt just like drenched. I mean, having to spend a night in jail, it was just so much I was going through. And I actually told the director, like, I don't know, I may stop. I may stop with moving forward with this project. I just need time to myself. It's about Chamique Holdsclaw right now, getting healthy, getting in a good space. And he did just that, you know, he didn't bother me. I mean, I know he was sweating because a lot was invested in this project. But he gave me time, and anybody that knows me, just give me space, give me time to kind of figure things out, and that's just what I did. And you know what, I was at home one night, and I said, you know what, I can't stop now. I gotta keep going forth, because as you get older in life, you realize life is about completion, you know, finishing things that you start. So that was my mindset.
That's good. I'm reminded as you say that about the veteran who approached you in the film and shared his personal story. What does that feel like for you, Chamique, when people are really pulling you aside and talking about probably the most challenging times in their life, they relate to you and your completion and are really looking for you to give them a word to make it? How does that feel to you?
Well, you know, I think going through this ordeal and being open about my illness, it has really made me even more human. You know, it has really made me compassionate, and I have the ear to really listen. You know, I think sometimes, you know, when I was playing, I was traveling, you know, I didn't really get to connect with my family. You know, I was going. But then when I started to, like, you know, open up and started to say, hey, you know, I just wanted someone to listen to me, you know. These people, whoever you run across, if they're gonna open up, they just want your time, they want you to listen. So I'm lending my ear. And some of these stories, when I walk away, sometimes I go back to my hotel room and it overpowers me. I remember I did a NAMI event in Missouri, and this was probably the most touching. And I'm shaking hands, and it was probably like 500 people there. This lady, one of the organizers, waited for me to leave, and she grabbed my hand. A little old woman grabbed my hand so tight. And I thought she was just giving me one of the gift baskets, and she grabbed it. She said, let me tell you a story. She goes, I was at home, and me and my son got into an argument, and he had erratic behavior. She was just talking to him, got him to calm down. She said, I'm going to the store to get something. She said she left to go to the store. She realized she left something. She came back, and her son was hanging from a tree. And she told me, this is why you have to continue to use your platform to share your story and to give people hope. And those type of things just really just keep me moving forward. But at the same time, it's some things that really can bring me down. So I have to also make sure that I go to my therapy and that I'm also healing myself.
And how do you commit to that, you know, beyond the therapy, the self-care needed to really carry the mantle that you have chosen to carry?
It's, let me tell you, if you go from being like on top of the world, just imagine that, and in a sense, being humbled, like being knocked down because of something you can't control. It was just like, almost like two people living inside of me and not being able to control that. See, as an athlete, if I want to run faster, I can go track or work on speed drills. The same with jumping. So I was always in control of my body, but it was like my head was like almost detached. So it like freaked me out. And when I experienced those extremities, high, the low, the low, the low, I'm like, something's not right, something's not right. But, you know, everybody's like, oh, you know, you'll be okay. It was, gosh, it's like, it's very, and it's this, gosh, it's, I gotta pass this.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
It's very overwhelming. You know, it's very overwhelming. It's to know that you can't really control something. And it just really forced me to say, you know what, I need to get help. You know, I have to say, you know what, I'm not strong. You know, athletes are taught to knock down people, to jump. We're superior. And I'm not that anymore. Like, hey, I'm human, I feel. You know, I have moments when I'm weak, and I have to be honest with it.
Well, I have to say, you demonstrate your strength by your transparency and your willingness. I mean, it's courageous, what you've done, and your courage, I'm sure, is helping people in this audience and the hundreds of thousands of people who will see your film.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. You know, let's talk a little bit. I know it's important for you to work with girls and to empower girls. We saw that from your clinic. Why? Why is that just so much a part of who Chamique is?
Well, I think it started with my grandmother because, you know, growing up, my grandmother, you know, fed the homeless at the church. She was just big on community and giving back. I grew up in New York City. As you saw, you know, Ron Artest, Metta World Peace. My brother now, who's struggling, Lamar Odom. We all grew up together, you know, playing basketball. I was the only girl. And I remember early on, the boys didn't want me to play with them. Even though I was the best player, they didn't want me to play. And there just wasn't, I played on all boy teams until finally, until I was like 14, 15 years old. There's just not, at that time, as many things for young girls. And so I said, hey, you know, if I ever get in a position, I want to give back to these young women because they need to just be empowered and empowered to know that they can achieve great things.
So, are there any girls out in the audience? So, what would you like them to walk away with after seeing this film?
Wow, it's so many things, but you know, as you go through life, one of the things I realized, so many people, they told me that I can't escape my environment. They told me that I couldn't be a world-renowned athlete. When I was diagnosed with mental illness, they told me, oh my God, you know, all the I can'ts, you're not gonna be able to do this. But I had to learn to change those I can'ts and change my mentality to I can't. I can do this. And I've been able to be successful despite all these people telling me that what I couldn't do. And you just have to just make up your mind, and you know, you have to just really do the work and say, you know what, I'm gonna make this dream of mine a reality. Because there's always gonna be naysayers and haters, we know how that goes, but you just have to just have a plan and, you know, just allow your elders, you know, to offer their support too. When I say elders, you're not gonna always be in a situation where you have a mom and a dad. You know, it may be a grandparent, it may be a person in the community, but listen, you have to listen. One of my greatest moments is, one of my greatest times, I would say, is just sitting there with one of my aunts. She's like 70 years old, and I sit with her sometimes, and she just tells me stories. Now I'm like, speed up the story. But I learned so much from her, and I think that a lot of young people need to do that. We need to just slow down because they've lived it. They've lived, and they have a lot to say. And they lived in a time where it wasn't so fast-paced, but they were able to accomplish such great things, knowing what family structure was, knowing what discipline was. and rolling up the sleeves and working hard. And I just think we need to open our ears and to show those people more respect.
Thank you. I would like to ask the audience if there are any questions. Do we have a microphone available? Does anyone have any questions? Oh, very good. I see some hands up front here. How about the young lady in the pink polo? That would be you. Yes. Here's a microphone, dear.
I have a mic for you. You need to stand up.
I wanted to know, like, how many games did you win before you quit the WNBA game?
How many games? I can't recall how many games I won, but I retired in 2010, and I played 12 seasons in the WNBA and 11 seasons in Europe. So I played a lot of basketball.
Okay.
Hey, young ladies, when you get the mic, tell me your name.
My name is Shantia,
Okay.
And how old are you?
11.
Great.
My name is Anaya. I'm 11, and my question is, how is it to be in the WNBA?
Well, it was great because I remember when I was younger, probably your age, and I started playing basketball at 11. And I remember I couldn't wait to get the Sports Illustrated. I would put all the pictures around my room, but they were all pictures of boys because they were not of men. There wasn't a WNBA. And I told myself I was going to be the first woman to play in the NBA. I didn't make it to the NBA, but I had, the opportunity to live out my dream. And on top of that, I'm from New York City, and when I got drafted #1 in 1999, it was in New York City. So it was a great experience.
That's great.
My name is Sakura, and I'm 14. Do you still have the basketball clinics?
Oh yes, I do have the basketball clinics. We rotate them to different cities.
Like Milwaukee?
Yes, we'll have to do one here. I love the advocacy work that I do, but I'm always going to be a hooper and connected to basketball in some way because that was a talent that God gave me, and I have so much knowledge. It was something that really came easy to me, so it would be selfish not to give back to you young ladies.
And can I ask a follow-up about that, about your clinic? So not only do you teach them basketball skills, but you teach them life skills as well, correct?
Oh, yes. I mean, basketball is great. It definitely helped me a lot. It kept me focused, gave me a free education. But it's about the life skills. If you can't understand the life skills and, the discipline, handling stress and able to cope with different things, just being respectful, you're not going to go far. You're not. You're always going to be labeled as a problem. So I could care less if you learn how to shoot jump shots. I want to teach you about life and being able to handle things and cope and becoming a better and well-rounded individual.
Is it on? It's on.
We can hear you.
Hi, can you all hear me?
We hear you, trust me.
Yeah.
My name is Ranisha. I'm 15 years old. Throughout the movie, you talked about basketball, but you never talked about how it was at school and in college for your grades. Mm-hmm. Was it hard and complicated to manage your grades and basketball?
Well, okay. Me and Bernard was talking about this. I came from a really great high school academically, and I did really well, scored well on my SATs. So, in my household with my grandmother, it was come home, get your homework done, first take off your uniform, get your homework done, then you can go outside and play. So academics was really stressed in my in my household. Then the same thing in my high school, but when I went to college, making that transition, being away from home, trying to figure out time management because it's a lot thrown on you. People look at college athletes and you get to go to school free or partial scholarships, but it's like having a full-time job. And even though my coach was great and she, gave us all the resources, you have to learn how to plan and organize things. And I could sit here and be honest, I probably was like a B plus A student in high school. Could have went to any college that I wanted to. I went to college in first 2 semesters, I think I had like a 2.6 and a 2.7. And you can move off campus with a 2.5. And I go to Coach Summitt's office, I'm like, yes, I get to move off campus. And she says, nope, you're not moving off campus because, you know, I could see if you couldn't do the work. I know that you can do the work. And I was mad, and I was transferring to UConn. I was upset, but she challenged me, and all my rest of my semesters at UT, that one right after, I had like a 3.6, I made over a 3.0, but I had to get it together, and someone cared, you know, someone supported that.
And that's probably, you would say, important as our young people are thinking about colleges and thinking about college athletics, choosing a school and a coach that cares about them succeeding in life, yes?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, Pat Summitt's known for that.
I mean, a lot of kids nowadays, you guys, oh my God, I want to play Tennessee's, the UConns, and those schools might not necessarily be right for you. You have to go someplace where you're going to be comfortable, where you're going to feel supported, that necessarily has your major. So many kids go to schools, and I'm like, what do you major in? Well, I wanted to do this, but they didn't have that. Like, you have to really make good decisions, and, you know, us female athletes, there's few, but we're not making millions and millions of dollars like the men, so you just have to really take advantage of the education aspect of it.
Hi, my name is Michaela, and I'm 15. I wanted to know, like, because I play basketball myself, and sometimes you talked about in the movie how you said your coach pushed you, you know. Before you got help and you talked to people, what were you telling yourself in your mind? How did you hold yourself together, not talking to other people?
That's a great question. You know, early on, before I really started getting the help, for me and for a lot of people growing up, you know, the Ron Artesses and myself, like, basketball is our way out. It's our way out of our environment. You know, I looked around where I was from, and I knew I didn't want to be there. I wanted to get away from there. So I just put everything in. Basketball was my coping mechanism. At that time, like, that's what kept me healthy. You know, going out there and just putting everything into that. And it's funny, my grandmother will often tell me, Chamique, she noticed the mood swings. She would send me to therapy. She said, listen, you know, don't go out there acting like that because somebody might hurt you. Take out those frustrations on the basketball court. That's what I heard, and that's what I did. I put everything into that. But after a while, you know, that just, as I got older, that wasn't, like, sustainable.
So if someone was feeling the way you described out in the audience, what advice would you give them?
I would say talk to someone. I mean, you know, there's coaches, there's, you know, older people at your school. Some of you have friends that you can confide in. Just talk to someone. Don't keep it inside, because what ultimately happens when you constantly suppress feelings, they come out and they explode. So you just have to really, you know, use your voice. Because no one knows what you're going through if you don't say anything. You know, people can't necessarily always play the guessing game, or I notice moves or something. You know, just be honest.
Hi, my name's Indira. I'm 21 years old. My question for you is more like, what was the way you coped and the way you realized, like, life would be different without basketball, like, coming towards the end of your career, because you did have such an extensive career from high school to college and pros in the United States and overseas?
Oh, wow. I told Burnell this when we were in the back. A big piece of athletes is that, you know, that retirement, that transition. And I sat there on my couch. I was at my house. I was in a cast from rupturing my Achilles. That's where I stopped playing. And I just started crying. Oh my God, what am I gonna do next? Like, oh my God, my life is over. And I didn't realize, you know, I had a degree. You know, I was a brand. It was so many things, so many connections that I had made playing basketball. But at that moment, I felt worthless, because a lot of people, that's what they identified me with, basketball. You know, hey, Chamique Holdsclaw, basketball player. That was my identity. And what I had to do at that moment moving forth is like, I sat there, I cried, I released, and I said, I have to detach. So for me personally, I just was like, I can't watch this. I can't watch basketball. I have to like start thinking about other things. I have to, you know, write down my goals, things that I want to do, people that I've helped who are in the sports world or whatever business I want to do, reaching out to them, networking, like, because you give so much. I've given so much. I've given so much to my university. I've given so much to my high school and various people. Now it was time for me to, in the WNBA, now it was time for me to like reach back and say, hey, you know what? I've helped you. I've done these things. Now support me.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And how have they supported you?
Oh, it's been great. You know, at first, I'm one of those people where I'm like, okay, that New York stubborn young lady, where I want to do things on my own. But sometimes, you know, doing things on your own isn't always the right way. You have to ask for help. So as I started doing more advocacy work and, you know, getting out with colleges and universities speaking, people look at my brand and my business. This is all me. I've done this all by myself. I don't have like no PR team or anything like that. I've done it by myself, but I said, hey, if I want to make this sustainable and make this bigger and spread the message, I'm going to have to contact the WNBA. And let me tell you, they've been awesome. They set up meetings with me with the NBA. They're starting the whole health and wellness thing, and they want me to be on the phone calls and, you know, help them plan. They've connected me with people in the NCAA, and that's all from opening my mouth. Like opening my mouth and stop being stubborn and saying, hey, you know what? Like, I need some help here.
I'm gonna say this before I pass the mic. Sports management people in the house. One of the things is, as women and women athletes, we have to create our own destiny. We're not handed those $20 million contracts like the guys. We have so many opportunities as women to create our own destiny. That's why I purchased a women's basketball team. We need a pro team here in Milwaukee. If a woman doesn't do it, it's not going to happen. We need pro soccer. We need tennis. We need all these things. Chamique is creating her opportunity. Because those opportunities are out there, you just got to make sure you open your eyes and you see it. And believe in yourself. You all have dreams. Don't shoot them down. Those are those opportunities for yourselves.
And Brunel, after this question, we have one up front as well. Okay.
Hi, my name is Kiera. I'm 16, and I wanted to know, like, did you like anything else besides basketball while you was in college?
Oh, in college, whoa, let's see. Let's think, in college, ooh, no.
Did you have time?
I mean, there was no time. I mean, in college, it's like you go practice, you go study, and you're in your dorm room eating.
You know, let's bring that question to present day, though. So what do you really enjoy doing now? What are you passionate about now?
Oh, well, I travel. I love traveling. I love hosting get-togethers with my friends, and I just love like just being in the community with the young people. I mean, it's just so many things that I just learned from them. I realized that it's not cool to have a selfie stick.
Yeah.
This young lady told me, I will not walk with you, Miss Holdsclaw, if you have a selfie stick. I was like, okay.
Sorry. Oh, that's great. Go ahead.
I guess I just had a comment more than a question.
Okay.
My name is Tony. I'm actually a teacher and a basketball coach. These young ladies and those young ladies all have played or do currently play for me. And I can relate to your story so well with, okay, I had this great life, doing these great things, made a mistake, you know, God, went into myself because I was afraid that I disappointed so many people, including family, friends, whatever, and used what I knew and made a turnaround for the better, and now things are going really, really well. And sometimes it's hard to get to the point where you think about yourself and figure out, you know, how do I detach for a little while and just recharge so that I'm my best me, not only for the girls, but just for myself. And so I really enjoyed your story. I'm going to use it, just so you know, as an inspiration, not only for these girls, but for future girls. I've been coaching for quite a bit. I played, but I took the other route. I took the academic route to college, because when I was going there wasn't very much money for athletics. There was more money in my academics. So I'm using what I know and what I'm learning to translate to them, not only basketball, but just use it as a tool for life lessons. Two of the three young ladies, I've been mentoring them since sixth grade and seventh grade, and they're sophomores in high school, and we just talk about life. And so it's cool that basketball is an outlet to reach these young ladies, and it's so rewarding. So again, thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I pray that you come to Milwaukee for a clinic. I will bring all.
Okay,
all that I know,
yes.
and I know a lot.
Okay.
To come and enjoy what you have to offer. So I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Do we have time for a couple more questions?
My name is Anaya, and I'm 11, and me and my team, Lady Panthers, wanted to know if you can come to one of our games at Washington High School.
Well, if I come back for the clinic and you young ladies are playing, I definitely will come.
My name is Ebony. Greetings. I just wanted to salute you first of all. I was a part of that group where my parents said, girls don't play basketball. And I'm like, let me just show you this move right here. I call this the Holdsclaw. Let me just show you this. So salute to you. What advice would you give to the network of people around someone that may be struggling? You spoke a lot about reaching out, and people not reciprocating. What advice would you give to someone who might be just in the network that can reach back?
Well, as far as you're saying, advice to give to someone struggling or the network? Oh, you know what? Honestly, just showing support and asking somebody how are they doing? You know, looking for signs, because I had that with my friends. You know, I wouldn't be here and be healthy without those people around me. A lot of times, I think we're just like, when I'm at colleges, right, and the kids, you know, they talk to me one-on-one, and they're like, you know, my roommate, she's such a drama queen. She says she's gonna kill herself or take her life. You have to take those things serious and contact someone on the campus, you know, contact a parent, because I had a friend, let me tell you guys, this happened 8 days ago. My friend, Dr. Bryce, if you go Google him, Dr. Bryce, he committed suicide, killed himself, shot himself. Just got his doctorate, Omega Psi-Phi, just a guy with a smile all the time. And he had inner struggles. My friend, who was his girlfriend, kept calling his frat brothers, telling them, he's gonna be all right. He's gonna be good. She called his neighbor and said, can you please check on him? He's not answering his phone. Well, you know how he is. He's in there playing that video game. Well, the next morning, they go in, and he's shot himself. So we have to listen. People always have cry for help. I think they said like 80% of people always have some type of cry for help. So we just have to really listen and come outside of ourselves and just, you know, show some heart, show some compassion for, you know, our neighbors.
I'm Amber, I'm 25, and we were wondering, when you came out about mental illness, did any other professional athletes reach out to you?
Oh, do you, well, I don't know if Mr. wrote it, I can't recall if he said it or not, but I'm one of probably the first athletes to really come out and to talk about it. So it was like everybody was looking at me like, why are you talking about this? And then I noticed as I started moving around, you know, I would find a teammate, I would be alone, and my teammate would say, hey, you know, you want to go? Well, they would come to me, I want to get a bite to eat. I'm like, okay. Well, I didn't know what you were struggling with. I was struggling with the same thing. same thing, I would be out with some of my, football player friends, and they get me one-on-one, start telling me. So I've been able to bring male athletes and some other female athletes to different, functions and have them open up about their stories. And that's why I respect Brandon Marshall and my buddy Ron Artest for opening up, because, we as women, we're a little bit more open about our feelings. I think for men, they really struggle with feeling like they're less of a man if they say, oh, I'm weak. And when these athletes, because we look up to them, they have this platform of, and to say, hey, you know what, I knocked somebody down and I'm strong and I'm manly, but I have these problems and I'm going to get help. I think it really changes the culture. So I feel good now. I'm like, wow, Hope Solo just talked about she battles depression, or this person, because I think it shows that we're all human. We all go through things.
So for the sake of time, just have actually one more question for you, Chamique. It's clear what a wonderful relationship you had with your grandmother.
Yes.
If she were here with us today, looking back through all of your accomplishments, what do you think that she would be most proud of?
Oh, the fact that I finally got it, because my grandmother, she didn't really care about basketball. She just wanted me to go to college, graduate, and she said, I know you get 5, but you better graduate at 4 and you can't come back here. But she would be proud of me, because from day one, my grandmother, when I got baptized later in life, and they burnt my hand when I got baptized, the candle burnt on my hand, and we're Lutheran, and I remember Pastor Myers telling me, Chamique, your hand is going to be anointed. He goes, whatever you do, we're going to do with your hands. And my grandmother remembered that, and when I was younger, she's like, you're going to be special, something with your hands. And so I got good at basketball. She said, I was praying for that all the time. But she was like, you know what, basketball is just a tool. Basketball is just a tool. You're going to use this to get an education. You have to utilize this. She goes, these people are going to take from you, but you have to walk away with something. And so now it was like, voila, basketball was a tool. I used it. It gave me a platform. It gave me a platform in which I can advocate and help others. Now, don't advocate for mental health. Yes, that's a disease. Not a disease, but illness that I struggle with. And it's also a disability. And so I'm able to advocate for the disabled. I'm able to talk to people about overcoming obstacles. And so I found myself just spreading the word and just really trying to help people. And it's like I took it full circle from, almost like day one, when I would complain about, oh, we got to go to the church again to help. I can't go outside and play, but that's the way I was raised. And it feels good to see, man, she's not here, but I'm like the second coming of my grandmother.
Oh, that's wonderful. Chamique, thank you so much for spending time with
you,
us
everyone.
tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.